What's good, fam? It's Mr. Kelly with Good to the Hood, talking about anything and everything that impacts the culture. And today I just want to talk a little bit about the vote because the presidential election is underway. It's about 2 weeks from now, and it'll be interesting. Um, I'm not here necessarily to sway your vote because I feel like you're going to vote for at this stage of the game who you're going to vote for. Honestly, you probably decided on who you were going to vote for. As far as the presidential election is concerned, you probably decided on who you were going to vote for months ago. Months ago. Some of you maybe even years ago. Some of you even back in 2016 knew who you weren't going to vote for in 2020, right? But I'm more concerned with uh, you know, to encourage you to vote. Not just in the presidential election. This is a big election season for everything. So whoever your local representatives are, um, go ahead and vote. I think it's important for people, specifically Black people, to take advantage of the vote. Now, granted, I know there's the argument that both candidates are trash or aren't don't have our best interests at hand for Black and Brown communities. But that notwithstanding, is it a situation of voting the lesser of two evils? Many would say yes. And the whole deal is our our mothers, fathers, if you're my age, mothers, fathers, grandparents for sure, aunts and uncles, went through a lot to make sure that we had this right to vote. And I just feel like if we don't vote, um, we're just taking that for granted, and they died or suffered or sacrificed in vain, right? I'm like most of you or many of you, uh, and I know this because on my Good to the Hood Facebook and IG and that kind of thing. We talk and debate, and you guys know who you are. Um, feel like, look, it seems like like things aren't going to change or aren't going to get better. And depending on the topic at hand, I'm inclined to kind of agree. I feel like that too. Like it's just like, man, this is just crazy. Um, but if we look back at where things were, we have a long ways to go. But we did there's some progress that's been made. I mean, and a lot of it came to pass with the vote. Now, of course, there's a lot of involvement that needs to be. You got to get your hands dirty. You have to make your voice heard. Support those organizations or businesses or uh, synagogues or churches or whatever institutions um, that can kind of push and make some of this change, right? Um, and that's getting involved in whatever capacity that is, and even just improving things in your community or nearby communities, even if that's just charity, whether that's educating people, teaching people how to apply for a job, how an application should look, what a resume should look like, clothe them, how to dress, feed them, give them a shoulder to cry on. Get involved, because I'm afraid that in this day and age of social media, the illusion that you're making a change, um, and it's just that it's an illusion. You like a couple memes, or there's a little group of your friends or people on social media where you're like-minded. And so you like each other's things, you talk, you like the memes, you post little things here, little gifts and all this kind of stuff. And you feel like you're involved, but you're not involved. You're not making any change. Like that means nothing. If you debated somebody on Facebook, and if you liked some of their comments, or if you didn't like some of their comments, or whatever the case may be, it creates the illusion that you're involved, but you're not. You can spend hours doing that on social media, and you've achieved nothing except burning up some time. And look, everybody's guilty of that in this day and age. That's the era that we live in. Um, but get more so involved in something of substance that's important to you. Now, presidential candidates, who we got? We got Joe, and we got Joe Biden, and we got Donald Trump. Those are two major ones. There's Kanye West. I understand he's still on a lot of these ballots. He knows he's not going to win, so I don't know why he didn't just withdraw. I mean, like I said, I've discussed in other videos what I think maybe some of his motive might be. But I heard for early votes in one of these states, it might have been South Carolina or something, he's already received like 40,000 votes, which is crazy. That's hilarious. He's going to be receiving more votes. You know, voting, whether you're left or right, voting for a third party is going to get you nowhere. But look, vote for who you want to vote for, and I think it's important to go ahead and get your voice out and be heard. You know, I mean, that's the whole basis of America, right? But just know and admit it to yourself that your third party, at least this go around this cycle, third party's not going to do it. The Green Party is not going to take anything. Independent, Libertarian, no one's going to get in office. Kanye's not going to get in office. Ultimately, it boils down to Joe and Dawn. And so you just have to determine which candidate is going to have your best interest at hand. And I think it's important to say that, I mean, you know, do what you want to do, but a lot of people out there that are one issue voters, right? And one issue determines how they're going to go. And a lot of times people, I get it, vote for your interest. A lot of people don't look at things in a macro lens. What's going to help society as a whole, America as a whole. People may be less fortunate as a whole. Everybody's always looking for their own best interest. And that's, you know, to a degree, sure, that's how it should be. But, you know, there's a degree of selfishness, one could argue, if you're just obsessed with it and that's all it is. Look, as much as people in America complain about the 1% or the very rich, right, controlling everything or not making any change, well, it's arguably those people are voting for what's going to cut their taxes or what's going to give them the greatest benefits for whatever it is, for their business or for properties or whatever the case may be, right? And so you can't be the type of person that's like, oh, I'm not looking out for the people less fortunate than me, and yet I expect the higher ups to not think that way also. Like, you got to be the change you want to see, right? So look, all I'm saying is get your votes in, walk them into the polls. I wouldn't mail it. I'm going to be voting, and I'm not mailing nothing. I'm dropping it straight up off. I encourage you to do that. So look, we're going to have by the end of this year, we're going to have a new president, or we're going to have the same president. But we're going to know. It's not going to be an if. We're going to absolutely know. So just make sure that you exercise your constitutional right, as they say. Get involved. Social media is not being involved. And it is what it is, right? But until next time, this is Mr. Kelly with Good to the Hood. Peace.